Hey, what's going on, guys? Much love to those returning and shout out to those tuning in for the first time. I'm your host, DeAndre Evans, and today I have a very special guest coming onto the show. She is a 23-year-old phenom who was the CEO and executive director for Caitlyn Jenner's Foundation and is now in pursuit of launching her very own health and technology empire, as she was able to raise $3 million in seed funding for her startup, Lumisol. She is extraordinary, resilient, and committed to achieving nothing short of greatness. I have the one and only Sophia Hutchins on today's show. Hey, Sophia, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Can't complain. So, where are you right now? How's life going? What's going on?
I'm in New York right now, and life is good. Life is busy, but it's good. I'm kind of doing that bi-coastal thing right now,
Okay.
and that's like a tough thing.
Right. I bet. Because you're coming from Cali, right? Cali to New York. You hopping back and forth there?
Yeah, between LA and New York.
Got you. Perfect. So I do know that I'm definitely excited to have you on. I know a lot of people honestly has been like DMing me about this episode and this interview because I secretly just put it out there that I was having you on.
Oh, goodness.
And they can't wait for it. But with that being said, though, I do know it's Thursday, right? So it's like a throwback Thursday type of moment. And I like to do something cool for my guests. And if you don't mind, I would love to open up the floor just to go ahead and just hear a little bit more about you, your backstory and how you really got started in the business industry.
Yeah. I really got started in college. I was studying economics and finance, and I started looking at what kind of job do I want after college. That kind of thought process, was running through my mind, as it does with every college student. And ultimately I decided that I wanted to go into investment banking, and I tried that. I learned a lot about the industry. I did a lot of different interviews for different positions and different internships, and I ultimately ended up staying in LA and interning at like an institutional asset management firm, managing portfolios of hedge funds and private equity investments. And so I found that really interesting. So I thought I want to go into investment banking so I can eventually go down that road. And then life takes an unexpected turn, and I start managing a celebrity, Caitlyn Jenner, which was totally different, but similar in the sense that it's very entrepreneurial, right? It's a very around the clock job. It's something that you don't stop doing, you don't stop working. And so I started managing her in my senior year of college. And at the same time, I had this idea for a company, for a new business. And I just went out and kind of built a network and started the business.
Got you. Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what college did you go to? What's the name of the university?
I went to Pepperdine University in LA.
Okay,
In
nice. All right, nice. So in that transition, you said in your senior year, you started managing Caitlyn Jenner as far as the brand wise. Like, how did that opportunity come about?
So, how did the opportunity come about? Well, I was at the time, we had a great friendship, and I realized there was no one really managing Caitlyn. And there was like all these different parties involved, publicists, agents, assistants, all of that kind of thing, but no person kind of running it. Supposedly Caitlyn was supposed to be running it. But, there was a big void there and so much going on that I was just like, hey, this is what you should do. And Caitlyn's like, all right, go for it, do it. And so I did.
That's amazing. So there's a lot of trust there, like initially, to have someone come in, and just say, hey, take the ball and run with it. And
we were friends for a couple of years prior to me beginning to manage her. So there was definitely not like a quick, oh, manage me, some random stranger that I met at a photo shoot.
Yeah.
No, that's not exactly how it went down, but it was, pretty quick, a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Great. So like, what was in my opinion, what would be any challenges you probably faced during that time, whether just building a brand? Because obviously, like I said, it was some trust built. You said over years here. Like, were there any challenges, within the brand itself and building it and how to take control of that?
Are you talking about my brand or the brand of Caitlyn Jenner?
Actually, the brand of Caitlyn Jenner, but also your brand as well.
Okay. So for the brand of a celebrity versus my brand are very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Managing someone else's career and brand is really difficult to do, especially when that person you may not see eye to eye on everything with, but you advise them what to do as best for their career, and you present them with opportunities that you believe are best for their career. So that's what I do. I still do that, and that's what I did, then and continue to do. As far as my brand is concerned, my brand is not based around any person, and
Yeah.
it's way easier to handle a non-celebrity brand than it is to handle an individual's celebrity brand. Um, my brand is like this. For me, the sky was the limit. I went out and sought investment from top investors in the United States and attracted Founders Fund in Silicon Valley and Greycroft here in New York.
Nice. Okay, amazing. And along that way, obviously, you getting over your hurdles. You're getting through your race. Like, how did you overcome the challenges of just looking for that seed funding when it comes to building your brand?
So I think anytime you're fundraising, what I always tell people is that just as much as the investor, at whatever stage, but especially at the seed stage, just as much as the investor is, um, interviewing you and your
Mhm.
business, you're interviewing them. You're getting into a really really serious relationship with an investor at such an early stage. You're trusting them, and it's like dating. You really need to get to know them. There are going to be multiple offers on the table, and you need to know which offer is best for you. So I spent a lot of time vetting the offers that were there and trying to select the best partner, the best investor for the project.
Got you, got you. Now, are you able to say how many investors invested or who is
It's
invested within it?
it's very, very public,
Got
because I publicized it. Um, Greycroft
you.
and Founders Fund. I only have two investors. They're both institutional
Got you.
VCs.
All right, perfect. And along with that, like, tell us a little bit more about your brand, Lumisol. I know you're getting ready to kick things off here and take it to the next level. Like, just give us the meaning and the backstory of it and how it came about.
Yeah. So the brand itself is, we're positioning it as a health and technology brand. And
Mhm.
so when we go to market, we're going to go to market with Lumisol. Lumisol is a product that turns the SPF business upside down. And that's really what I want to do with this. I want to millennialize SPF. I want to make it sexy. And I want to make it part of people's everyday routine, not just I'm going to the beach, let me put on some white goop, or I'm going to the pool, let me spray this gross aerosol everywhere. So we've designed, um, through a subscription model, a direct to consumer SPF that has no single use plastics and has a slight uh, tech integration, in its first iteration, and we're really excited to see that grow. It's all about reapplication. It's all about, people using the product 2 times a day, 3 times a day. So we designed the formula to be specific to go over makeup because we know that women generally
Mhm.
wear SPF more and they're battling with, I need an SPF that I can wear a few times a day over my makeup. But at the same time, the product works perfectly for men that are not, wearing makeup, or people that are not wearing makeup, because it goes on seamlessly. There's no white residue. So we spent about 2 years engineering that formula and putting together this really unique packaging solution, that's eco-friendly at the same time.
Nice, nice. So basically, you was able to figure out a demand because, like you say, it was a lot of little goo up, right? People just splashing stuff in their face. It was a mess. And you figured out a way to like minimize that and make it more accessible. Like, how much planning went into, this product and this brand, and how the pitching process went towards the investors?
Yep. So when I did my pitches,
Hmm.
I did it really quickly. Um, but I think that's not the rule. That's the exception.
Hmm.
I think that ultimately you can never plan for a pitch.
Yeah.
You can be as prepared as you think you're going to be,
Hmm.
and you can have all the notes in the world. You can know the brand inside and out, but it's like, how do you ever prepare to speak to people, interview them, and have them interview you on your ability to launch this idea? Because that's all it was at a time, although it was a very well thought out idea. I worked with a small startup group that prepares early stage founders to go raise capital. So what I did with them was I spent about 9 months, 9 months, doing consumer and market research. And then based on that consumer and market research on SPF, we built a business plan, we built a financial model, we built a 90-day plan, a 6-month plan, um, and really broke down, what the next steps were, who potential partners were in the process, as far as manufacturing, formulation, packaging, shipping, etc., warehousing, developing. So all of those types of things you have to plan way in advance. I've been working on this prior to getting the seed round, but really that's when I started to make everything really happen.
Right, to get the ball moving. Gotcha, gotcha.
Right.
So I do admire and commend you for just your high business acumen. I mean, you've done a lot, worked with a lot of great people, and from my opinion, like, because I know having a startup is not easy, right? It's to get the ball moving and to get funding, get the investors all on board. Like, why personally do you think most startups fail nowadays, just based on the perception of starting a business?
2019 was the best year ever for venture capital.
Mhm.
As far as founders go, they get invested in the most, or they were invested in the most in 2019, and
Mhm.
so that's really exciting. But on the flip side
Mhm.
of that, obviously, high risk, high reward.
Mhm.
I think it all comes down to the founder and the CEO, the person that chooses the team to surround themselves with, um, is so important. Not just the people working for me, but the people that I go to when I need advice, where I can fill in the gaps when I'm not sure of something. I think it really comes down to, you have got to have a super clear vision of how you're going to do this, who
Mhm.
you're going to do it with, and you need to get everyone on the same page as you. Be open to changing your vision. Don't be open to changing your vision to the point that you're compromising it, but be open to changing the way you're going to achieve it if it makes sense. And so you've got to be flexible. We are like in a really interesting position
Mhm.
at Lumisol because every deadline is self-imposed by me, and we have hit and exceeded every deadline. I'm not sure if that's because I put the fear of God in all of my employees, or if I don't know what it is. But you've got to have realistic expectations. You've got to surround yourself with the right people, and you've got to make it happen, and make it happen quickly. Otherwise, it could fizzle out.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, that's very important. Having a team is absolutely essential to any type of growth at all. So I totally understand that. And to like piggyback off of that concept, because you are a CEO at a very young age, doing massive things. Like, just be honest. Like, how is the stress level? Like, how are you able to manage stress if there's any at all? Within you and your team. Like, how do you hold that composure, and how you get over that?
For me, managing stress is always a constant battle. Like, I go to all these networking things all the time with different founders and CEOs of companies at varying stages. And I think ultimately what you learn is, um, irregardless of your age, you need to love what you're doing. And if you don't, and you're, in some, you know, execute um, some level at which you are responsible for executing and making sure everyone else executes on time and properly,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're not going to stop working. And you have to, and in order to not stop working, you need to feel really excited and good about what you're doing. And so I'm really fortunate that I definitely do feel that way. And I like to work. I love it. And I don't feel like, it's like, oh, 9 to 5 and oh, we're done. I'm
Yeah.
never, I mean, I have two massive, massive careers at the same time. It doesn't stop. And I absolutely love that. I don't know what else I'd be doing. I'd be bored.
Right. You love the hunt. That's what it is. You got the passion,
I
the dying
do.
passion for it. Now, that's very important. And that's a very common trait when I talk to a lot of CEOs is that you got to be hungry, you got to be dedicated, and you
Mm,
have to be willing to, make the sacrifices needed to make it happen. So I
yeah.
totally understand that. And to that extent, too, because I know a lot of people that's actually going to be watching this are
Mm.
either young creators or young investors and looking for funding. Like, what advice would you give to millennials, just being one, looking to raise capital and get started in the business world here?
So I think this is my perspective, and I know a lot of founders don't have this perspective, but I'm 23. Yeah, I'm 23. um, don't get so caught up on equity dilution. That's a really, really specific example, but don't be afraid to take investment because, oh my God, I'm going to be diluted and I'm not going to be able to exit at this big, big ownership stake. Just get over that. You're 22, 23, you're young, right? Like, chances are, if you are an entrepreneur and you make this work, this is not going to be your last venture. Um, this is going to be the first of many. And I love being around serial entrepreneurs, serial founders, serial CEOs, because they are able, they have figured out how to go from 0 to 1, from nothing, an idea, a concept, a dream, to here's my product, buy it.
Right.
And then there are those that scale things from 1 to 2.
Mhm.
And, I think a lot of founders and CEOs need to do what they do best, which is go 0 to 1. I think some of them go 1 to 2 really well as well. And don't worry about equity dilution. Know your weaknesses. Take an investment if it means that you're going to be able to go 0 to 1. Make your dream a reality.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha. That's very important. I hope everybody listening, tuning into this is definitely taking note, because that's a major key point when it comes to this business overall. Really taking yourself out of it in the sense of just providing that value first and knowing why you're doing this in the beginning, which is totally understandable. And with that, like, because now my mind is everywhere. I'm trying to start startups. I'm trying to get into business. I'm trying to do everything. So, for me, just the next question based on you and your success, like what do you feel is the main attribute that really helps you succeed or get to this level or this point in your life where things are starting to pick up and roll? What do you think was the main thing that stood out?
Well, I don't think I've ever been at a point in my life where things were not going really fast,
Mm-hmm.
or a lot happening at once. I've always been extraordinarily, things have always been going. Um, I don't, I don't know. Everyone faces so many different challenges that are unique to them. And, you know, I'm not saying I haven't faced those. I've faced a lot of those. I think that we have got to be able to lift each other up when we get into positions where we are in charge. For me, hiring and building out my team has been extraordinarily intentional, not just in their skills, but in their ability to execute, but in what kind of makeup or what kind of individual am I hiring, and how does that fit with the brand? How does that fit with the other individuals working here? And we have to make sure that we are lifting voices up that are not being heard in this country and in the world. And there is so much value in that. And that is a huge mission of mine as an employer, is to make sure that I'm lifting voices up that aren't being heard elsewhere, because you're going to get the biggest ROI on that.
Right. Definitely, definitely. And I totally understand that. Yeah, hiring is an important part because it's a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's doing something wrong, you're like, well, it's kind of my fault. It's like, oh, well, they didn't do that. Well, it's kind of on me.
Yeah,
Like,
my somebody hired someone the other day, and I was like, why am I not on that email? I interview every person. I'm like, why am I not on that email? I need to be on an email. If someone's
exactly.
getting an offer letter, hello.
Right. Like immediately, like I need to know who is what's going on, X, Y, and Z. I
Yeah.
totally understand. So yeah, it's very important. And I know for some CEOs at least, they have two different routes. And I feel like yours is on the opposite end, but they either, go strict on resumes, like what have you done? What do you do? Like X, Y, and Z. And others just base it off of interaction. You know, are you a good fit? Like they go off the natural feel. Are you more so that type of CEO? It's like, I want to sit down with you. I just want to know how you feel about this, see if it's a good fit, like you said, or like, hey, I need some proof. I need some, documentation where you graduate. Did you get a degree? X, Y, and Z.
I've dated a lot of guys from Harvard, and I'm very unimpressed. So I literally don't care what educational institution people went to.
Mhm.
It's all about what have you done and what do you want to do? And are you a good culture fit? And pretty much if you've done something impressive or you want to do something impressive and you can execute that, that's what I'm looking for. I think employers that are our age or my age, I don't know how old you are.
Yeah, right around there, 26.
Okay, so like employers that are our age, we are not we're not hiring people based on where they went to school or what their GPA is. I literally could not care less. I think that you're going to see that shift happen, especially as more people our age are making more hiring decisions. So yeah, for me, that's not super relevant.
Gotcha. That's important. And I totally agree. I think that is a big shift that's happened. I'm starting to see it now, because I mean, we are considerably next when it comes to the big dogs, if you want to put it that way, who's going to take over. I
Yeah.
actually it's funny because I had a conversation with a close friend who I had on the show recently, in regards to just seeing how some of our greats are, leaving us early, our icons, our legends, our change makers, our visionaries. And it's like, who's going to take that next position? Who's going to step up to the plate? So I totally understand what you're saying all the way around. And when it comes to the brand, because now I want to get back into the branding of Lumasaw, like, do you have a date yet? When we'll be launching this thing? What's the future plans for it? What's coming up next there?
Yep. We launch April 1st in the United
Yeah.
States. We're very excited about that. All of our inventory got over here before Chinese New Year, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so right now, we're really just getting ready for launch. I have a couple more folks that we're onboarding between now and March, and then the launch happens in April. So really, it's internal prep for launch, and we have some really exciting partnerships that we're going to announce as we get closer to launch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're in a really, really positive place right now.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm super excited. I can't wait to see everything once it rolls out. I know you got a lot more stuff to do today other than take this interview, but I'm very grateful for it. Is there anything you want to, departing words, anything you want to share just for everyone or?
Sure. Yeah, I would say, to all the entrepreneurs that are listening to this, don't give up. Be patient and don't be afraid to not, to lose a few nights of sleep. You're going to lose a lot more nights as you become a more successful entrepreneur, and get your vision, get your dream going, get it a reality. You can totally do it.
Perfect. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That is Sophia Hutchins. And where can they find you? Where can they follow you to stay updated about the new
Oh
product,
God.
the company, everything's coming up?
In the tabloids? No. They could our Instagram is live, which is my Lumisol, I believe, or is it Lumisol? I don't know. Our website is live, mylumisol.com. People can go to the website and sign up to be on our list.
Perfect, perfect. So I'm gonna put all the information. I'm gonna get it from Sophia, guys. Put it down in the description so you guys can tune in, check her out, show love, show support. It's gonna be a great venture, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And until next time, guys, much love, peace, and blessings.